Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started. Engine hydraulics at pressure. And Stage 1 fuel is closed out. Falcon 9 is in self-align. Falcon 9 heaters closing out.
Dragon has transitioned to configure for terminal count.
Vehicle tanks pressing for strong back retract.
Strong back retract has started.
Stage 2 RP1 bleed. Stage 1 RP1 bleed. AFTS final setup started. MVAC igniter purges. Pogo bleed.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power.
Stage 1 LOX load closed out. Vehicle is transitioning to internal power. Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
Dragon is in auto idle.
Ground gas closeouts is starting.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in countdown.
FTS is armed for launch.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
Top 79, Yankee Bridge.
2025-79, days over ground tank, 6 kilo.
2377 on Echo Kilo going somewhere around 597.
77, days over ground tank, via Lima, kilo 5 on hold short of kilo 7.
All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Opsmic here. It's going to be your SITREP. It's Monday. It's 11 a.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas. It's about, let's see, 12/12/2022. Man, the year has flown by. It's amazing how quickly it goes when you're living in tyranny, isn't it? So, all right. So let's get over here without further ado, jump on to Skyglass and see what we've got going on. Now, we are sitting at about roughly, let's see, Mil Aircraft 279 up on screen 272. And our last load was 429. We've got, let's, if I can get in here a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we'll just take a closer look. Let me break out the list. C-130s actually right now are the highest up. T-38s are about number 4 down, but I'm not seeing Tex 2s are only 7. Very unusual. So what we have is substance up here on the board relative to aircraft, middle aircraft only, remember. 250s, kind of the average, so that's what you're looking for. But let's jump over here to our watch list real fast, and we'll take a gander at what's going on. And now I'll change the map up a little bit. The darker color is going to be water and lighter color is going to be land. But you can see we got stuff taking off here in the middle of the U.S. A couple R135s, little E6 coming out of Southern Cal. Little BE-20, that gray 84. Normal intelligence birds. That gray 84 is just an intel bird running the border. And then we get over here. East Coast is kind of popping in terms of the watch list. Now we've got some stuff happening. Homeland Security down coming out of the islands there. Looks like Puerto Rico side of the house. And we've got our regular little P8s out over Florida, both coast. We'll look closer at some of the other elements tied to that. And let me see. Mostly P8s in that mix. Kind of hard to look at it so closely. There is your Jenna. We'll look at that here again in a second. 412, going to be your nuke sniffer. Looks like he's up today running some routes there. That's going to be your boy that's looking for any kind of stuff in the air that ain't supposed to be there. And then there's Lasai. That's going to be a civilian intelligence bird. And there's your DOJ bird again, that Jenna 126. And if I can get it just to stay with me for a second, we'll look closer at it here on our own map. Nonetheless, that's your FBI, basically. Looks like they're headed to Huntsville, but that's their new headquarters, so we'll watch it closely. All right, so we've got a little Jake 11. We'll look at that one a little closer. And a NATO, both of them kind of tangling up there over Poland, right on that Belarus border. And then if we head up a little bit north, you can see they kind of head into Latvia kind of area. And then they're all the way up here just to the left of St. Petersburg, which is Mother Russia. So they're getting a good look at something up here in that neck of the woods. Got them concerned. And then we've got some P8s running routes there over the North Sea, just south of Norway. Kind of active in the UK for P8s right now, which is, don't see that too often. Excuse me. Still getting over the stuff in my chest. Doesn't want to go. All right. Like I said, little NATO, little E3 there running routes. That's going to be one of your AWACS. Now, that CL60, which is the Brio 68, that's another one of your civilian intel birds running over their Constanta and let me see here. All right. Okay. Yeah, just run over Constanta and along Moldova. And then that G2, pay attention to that one. That's one of your agency birds right there. And it is very busy, to say the least. And then let's get a little closer here. The G2 there, that the agency bird, we watch them. It's one of the gray birds. We watch them pop in and out of the area from time to time. Now, that Israeli B703 is going to be a J-star. And that is very active over Israel right now. So probably mapping out all the activity going on. We're going to look closer at that as well when we get into the other aspects of this. So let's see here. Let me get over to the other end of this, and we'll take a look at. So we talked watch list. Let's get into the heavies real fast. That'll be our next pick here. And as you can see, this is kind of a sporadic. It's not really sitting where it normally would sit in terms of traffic flows. Normally we see a lot of stuff coming out of the East Coast. It's kind of all over the U.S. going in all different directions. So I don't really know what to make of this yet. This is going to be your heavies, right? This is C-17, C-130s. And yeah, so very all over the board, really, across the U.S. And then we get over here to Europe. It's more the same thing. It's the flows that we normally see in that tempo kind of aren't there. We do have a couple, looks like, running in and out of the Poland area, up, headed a little bit north. And then we've got this one headed way up here into the Baltic side. Let's see. We'll get down a little further south. Again, these are going to be your heavies. So C-17, C-130s making moves. Got some stuff going on over Spain and Portugal. Again, the dark shaded area is going to be water. Okay, just kind of help you calibrate. I'm using a little different map here, just so we can see the lines a little better. And you can see some activity there out of Cyprus, across Israel, and some stuff going on down there into the Middle East in the general UAE area. So, like I said, it's not the normal pattern that we see, not the normal volume that we would see, but we're going to look at that closer as well here in a second. Now, refueler-wise, I got two of them up here. I got one over Europe, two over Europe, that is. And then one that's kind of down here over the Middle Eastern side of the house, kind of over Iraq, probably supporting fighters up over Syria. And we're going to look at that closer too, because that's definitely getting busy. And then again, here's this, if we look at the air refuelers rolling out across kind of the Northeast, you expect to see that because they're doing a little top cover for Biden. But then we start looking at this little launch cell running out of the center of the United States. Got some stuff coming in from Hawaii. Again, it just kind of matches what we see with the heavies, and that is really no rhyme or reason. Just kind of over the board today. So we'll see if it gets back into tempo. All right. So R135s, let's talk a little bit about them. As you can see, back to our regular map here. Notice you got the little, again, the little set that's coming down over the North Texas, Oklahoma side of the house, and then up over the areas where we normally would see that activity. Looks like maybe some calibration flights. And when we look at the Takamo's E6s, that'll kind of come into play again as well. So, all right, now let's talk briefly as we look. You can see again, still running that area over Europe, over the Latvia and Lithuania, that kind of area, and then as well as Constanta and Moldova. Just seems to be a spot that they are very, very interested in. And then along that Syrian border, again, we're going to look at the Syria activity here shortly. So take a look at Homeland Security. I changed it up a little bit this morning so we can just kind of get another look. Again, back to our dark map here because it helps kind of highlight the lines. You can see some water activity over Southern California. And then you've got your regular stuff you expect to see, kind of the Southern Texas border into Houston. As we get in into the area, you know, that's that one I can't really make heads or tails out of. It is a water flight. I don't know what's there's an island out there, I guess, but looks like it landed out there. Again, Homeland Security running some stuff there in New Orleans. Look at Southern Florida, super duper busy, running between there and Cuba, and then you get down here into the islands, running stuff out there as well. So very, very active for Homeland Security. Yeah, it's about the last 5 days right there too. And then you get up here into this side of it, kind of on the border, and then in Chicago, which is kind of like a border town. Wild and crazy. So, all right, now that's going to be Homeland Security. Now let's take a look at the Takamo. These are Take Charge, Move Out. That's what that acronym stands for. These are your E6s, okay, Navy E6. Now, these communicate. These are airborne command centers that communicate with your submarines and your ICBMs. Notice you got some activity out in the Gulf. That would indicate we got a U.S. sub in the Gulf. And notice you got them up here on the East Coast as well, kind of off D.C. and that general area. And you got them running stuff over the silo locations, right? So they're talking to ICBMs over the just airborne command, like I said. Very active, though. This is just the last three or 4 days. So very, very active. Okay. All right. Let's get back to our main page here. And let's dig into what we got. All right. Looking at the ash alerts across the Pacific and down into the southern side of the house here of the United States. I don't know what that was. I had a little blip down here. I really don't know what it was. It went away. It looked like ash actually just out there by itself. But you can see the one in Japan still firing. Simaru's still popping. Remember, that had ash going all the way up 50,000 feet into the air. And then we get over here into Mexico, all the way down into South America. These are ash alerts. By no means does it give you an idea of the total volcanic activity going on, because if you start looking at the lava, you got Hawaii popping and a bunch of them around the planet. On average, we're hitting about 20 to 22 a month of active volcanoes around the world right now, which is, it's been that way for a couple years. Highly active compared to what it used to be if you go back 15 years or so. Okay. All right. We'll get a gander here at Flashbang's schedule. Looks like he's headed, let's see, where are they headed over to? Arlington, Virginia. And they're going to be doing some Toys for Tots stuff, it looks like, today. Now, if we look at the TFRs here in just a second, you're going to see this one. We've got a U.S. African Leaders Summit coming in, and they've doubled up on the TFR over D.C. So if we kind of get into that side of it, this is the reason the color changed, because you've got a yellow on top of a red. But there is a TFR for VIPs, and then a TFR that is the standard red TFR. But yeah, it looks like the summit is coming into town, and that they just basically mirrored the security TFR and put a VIP one over that. Nothing really else. Space ops here, security stuff going on there, and border stuff here. One thing I will, just kind of an observation as you back up a little bit, just notice the colors that are popping into the map here. These are power outages in the blue. And I think this stuff here is going to be blizzard advisory. So we've got a pretty severe storm rolling inbound. I know here in DFW area, we've got a high risk of thunderstorms like tornadoes and hail, et cetera, today coming inbound. Even though we don't see it on the map, it's there. And so it's supposed to start popping here this afternoon. But yeah, don't really see it on the map, the weather-wise. So interesting. Now, I did go look at the weather mods flights and really nothing there. So it's kind of strange. Very inactive right now. So, okay. Now, let's talk marine traffic for a second as this thing decides to go blank on me for a second. Let me hit a refresh. Don't know why it did that, but don't show again. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about this because we got some data points that are relevant. We've been talking about it for quite some time. I haven't really gone back and shown this just because it was producing the same result every single time. And, we're looking for stuff, hopefully for changing data so that we can establish some type of baseline. But the baseline was just flat. You can see very active in Shanghai, but this stuff is not coming to the United States. And if you get out away from the shore, this is pretty deep water, you can notice that these ships are all parked out here. These are unspecified. A lot of them are cargo. But they're parking them out here because they're not using them, okay? And that's because the shipping stuff has tanked because the output from China has tanked, as have the orders into the United States tanked. So if you get in here to Los Angeles, everywhere else, normally this is pretty active. It's really not. I mean, you've got more stuff in here right now than we've probably seen in the last couple SITREPs. Got a lot of oil that's moving out. But for the most part, just kind of consistent. If you go on up the shore and coastline, San Francisco's the same way, Oakland's the same way. Really just kind of not that much stuff in there. Remember, this is the busy time of season. This is when they should be getting everything in because of all your Walmart orders and your Target boutique orders, etc. You get up here to Canada, it's a little more active than other locations, but for the most part, pretty dead. So get over here to CNBC, and there's an article write-up. Freight rates from China to West Coast down 90% as global trade falls off fast. Yeah, they're saying it's plunged. And then here's another article. U.S. manufacturing orders from China down 40% in an unrelenting demand collapse. So everything I've been showing you, and people are saying, oh, well, it's always been that way. It is not. And over the last year, it has. We've watched it come to a standstill, and this is the end result, is that we're starting to see it now. This will impact us into 2023, and you're going to see very hard to control inflation when you just don't have the product there. That means the product that is here is going to start costing you a lot more to get your hands on. So, all right, speaking of the market, around 450,000 home buyers are now underwater as early FHA delinquencies hit 2009 levels. Yeah, remember 08, 09, that was that big bubble that popped. We had the collapse. So this is looks like we're headed for that again. So we'll have to just pay close attention to it. But you can see it. Everything is slowed down considerably. I know people that are realtors and in California, and they said the same thing. They said it has come to a screeching halt because interest rates are going up, and it's not helping them at all. So, all right. Now, here's one for you. This is going to change the dynamics of this war. Pentagon is now more likely to support the Ukrainian long-range missile attacks on Russia, and this is from the Times. But notice the gear these guys are wearing, all probably U.S. provided, with the exception of those boots right there. He needs some better boots. Can we get him some better boots, folks? Come on. All right, so let's see here. This is just basically, just think of this as a data point for you where this is probably where you're going to see things start to ramp up. As you start to go proactive, best defense is a good offense, and as you start to go proactive in shooting rounds into the interior of China, Russia. That right there, folks, is going to jam you up. We're going to have a lot of recourse coming back on us. I will bet money on that. So, okay. So let's get over here to Bitdefender real fast, and we'll start breaking out the maps of what's going on around the world. But you can see this right here is, again, continued. We're on multiple months now where it is very one-directional coming inbound to this data center here. This is a fiber optic network. This is what is causing your stuff to spin and get slow feeds, etc. So there you go. All right. Now, this one, pay attention to, because this is Taliban. It says the Afghanis are firing at the border of Pakistan and killing 6 civilians. This is how little things start to get that pop off and go a little bit crazy. Remember, we left a screaming metric ton of assets in the region, and so Taliban is very well armed. And I imagine that between the Afghan and Pakistan border, it is not good to have that environment. So we'll watch it, see if it actually upticks like everything else that's going on around the world. So speaking of that, let's get over here and take a look at the maps. We're going to look at the Ukraine map to begin with. As you will see here, this is these blue shields. Those are Russia popping off rounds deep into the interior of Ukraine. Again, they've got power outages currently in Odessa. I know they're still struggling with power on and off in Kiev and several other areas. We've seen them go as far out as the border. Almost, in fact, they've actually popped things off into Poland in the last month or so. And so, but that wasn't us. That was actually Ukraine firing in the wrong direction. But nonetheless, it happens. Right. But you can see still going, still active. Again, if we're starting to launch stuff into Russia, that's going to be a game changer. And you will see the face of this war start to morph very quickly. All right, let's look at Israel. As I've continued to point out, up in the West Bank in Palestine, this whole area, as you see all the orange stars and the handcuffs and the red and green faces on there with the frowny face, people getting killed. You can see it is starting to produce quite the trend up into Israel across that border fence. Like I said, you get into when you cross that green line right there on the right side of Jerusalem all the way up, you're into the West Bank, and that's a hot area, and it has continued to get crazy. And remember, Bethlehem is on the right side of that green border fence, which is crazy to think about that. But you got a lot of holy sites that are embedded in that West Bank area. So nonetheless, keep your eyes on it. All right, for sure. It is. You're not going to hear this stuff in the regular news. All right, now let's get over here to this side of it. Take a look. This is Syria, but just notice the uptick of activity along the border between Turkey and Syria. It is very heated right now. And so we'll continue to watch it, but that is the spot. You get a couple little pops down there near Israel and the southern side of Syria. But for the most part, everything is happening right up there in the that northern border between Turkey and Syria. They seem to be going at it pretty hot and heavy. And so that so we talked Ukraine, Israel map, Syria map, and let's get back to the main map here on the mini side of the house. So, all right, so we talked about the Taliban, right? Again, the whole area is just going mad right now. Let's take a look at the NOTAMs. Again, these are danger areas off the East Coast, off the West Coast. Notice that is down southern border off of Baja. And then we've got this stuff off of Seattle. Orange is going to be, for the most part, military exercises. Red would be mil ops, okay? And we get over here to this side of the house. It does look like it's settled down just a tad compared to what we've been watching over the last month or so. But you're going to see also that our flights seem to match this tempo, okay? So it looks like we've got a troop plateau, like done with the exercises, people are in place, all the assets are in place. Somebody just needs a green light the war. Really, that's pretty much where we are. But you can see, again, very limited activity going. You got some stuff happening out here in India. Got some things going on here in Africa. But you get up here and, got the box over Ukraine and Russia. And right here, Crimea, all the way down, a little part of the Black Sea. Turkey's got some stuff happening. Of course, you got Turkey stuff happening here too. And that's where we are. But our flights will actually match that. As you can see, this is Biggs Army Airfield. Got nothing. And over the weekend, I think we had one flight that came in and out. We get over here to Topeka, Kansas. We got one camber flight headed to Poland, and that's a 747-400. And then we got an Atlas Air that came in. So it looks like that flight right here is Atlas Air. They just they came in without troops and left with troops. That's thus the camber call sign. And don't recognize who this is. NetJets. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, doesn't apply. All right. Now, this is Ramstein, and got the Atlas Air coming in from Baltimore, Washington. Don't see it on the exfil board yet or on schedule board, so it is landed and being offloaded. And a couple reach flights. We do have a priority air transport. That's an Army bird coming in from County Kerry. And then we've got, it looks like it is rolling outbound. Actually, it's already rolled outbound from there. So, and then over to the Poland. Again, nothing really on the board that catches my eye. We know we've got some stuff coming inbound, but I don't even see it over here on the en route board yet. Okay, so yeah, these are all commercial flights, by the way. I know you're looking at it thinking, well, it looks like it's pretty busy, but it's really not. These are commercial flights that intermix with military flights. So I'm looking for call signs and aircraft types, and I don't see anything that would indicate we've got stuff coming in today. Okay. All right. This is Guam, and we do have an Omni that is leaving there, headed back to Hanoi. It came inbound from Singapore. And then we've got a Navy logistics, two of those that came inbound. And very quiet note. Hey, check this out. We got an F-35A. That's going to be an A variant, which is U.S. Air Force. Looks like that came in. And that's actually, sorry, I say U.S. Air Force. It's A variant, but it's actually the Australian Air Force. So the B variant, you've got A, B, and C, right? And so the B variant is going to be your Stovall. That's the one that hovers. And the C variant is going to be what they call the carrier variant, which is Navy stuff. Okay. So, and the B will be Marine Corps. Of course, they land on carriers as well. But nonetheless, kind of neat to see an F-35 rolling in from down under. Okay. And it's actually departing to down under. So it came in somewhere over here. We just didn't catch it. So, all right, now let's talk Diego Garcia. I've been watching this closely. There is no tempo to this. I thought maybe there was. I'm really debating. Remember, this is Camp Justice, so we've got a prison out here. I'm really thinking that there are some folks that are getting arrested in Singapore. There's probably been some large volume of arrests going on, and they've got a regular round robin coming inbound back and forth to Singapore. It's the only thing I can think of. I thought maybe supply run, but supply runs typically have a tempo, and it's not every day of the week unless you are you loaded down with personnel, an uptick of personnel, which we haven't seen. It just doesn't fit. So we'll continue to watch it, but again, something seems to be going on out here at Camp Justice. All right. Okay. Camber flight. Got one left Kuwait, and that is it. It's the only thing I got on the board. Just getting airborne. It's climbing out 32,000 feet, 494 miles an hour. Headed probably, if I had to guess, either to Ramstein or it's going to be rolling up here to Shannon and then across the drink back to the U.S. So, all right. Here's your Omnis. You got Guam, and origin-wise, you got Hanoi, and you've got Shannon, Ireland. This one's headed from Hawaii to March Air Force Base. Anderson from Guam looks to be headed to Hano. All right. So those are going to be troop movers. But again, very, very light. All right. This is going to be your Brits. This could consist of, that one right there is going to be an R135. And this is just kind of a mix of stuff. But not that many up in the air. And they're still, they're moving troops and assets back and forth. And so it looks like they're a little busy. But from a U.S. perspective, we do not appear to be. All right, Ruskies, nothing up right now from the Ruskies. Okay, now let's talk for a second. This is, okay, this is going to be your Gestapo bird, currently en route coming from D.C. I thought it was going to be headed into Huntsville. It looks like they are not. So we'll continue to see where it goes, kind of on that trajectory. See if it gets to Dallas-Fort Worth. Could be going, no, it's, we'll see. Let's just wait and see where it goes. You never can tell with these things, but kind of that current heading looks like it may be headed into the DFW area. It's at 24,000 feet, 379 miles an hour. Again, it's kind of clicking for that type of aircraft. It's just a Dash 8, de Havilland Dash 8. Okay, so we'll watch it and see where it goes. And then let's get over here. This is an interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about immigration for a second. They say here comes the flood as the Biden regime nailed it. Boast a full steam ahead on terminating Title 42, welcoming 30,000 illegal aliens every day. Now, if you're familiar with Title 42, that actually is dictated by the CDC based on their protocol. We were able to use that to defend the homeland, so to speak, even though we haven't been. But they're dropping that protocol. And so basically our borders are about to be open season coming inbound and starting December 21. And so they say there's people on the other side of the border that are just waiting for that date. So they're all in like a campground. Now, this is going to be your outbound. These are going to, this is Swift Air. And you're just going to notice everything's headed southbound right now, except for this little jewel right here. And that's looking like it's leaving Vegas to up here into, get down on this side of it, Bedford, Massachusetts. So keep in mind, too, that Swift Air also, they do a lot of hockey flights. So this actually could be a hockey team, more than likely, okay, rolling out of there. But everything else looks to be south of the border. So, okay, well, that is going to do it for today. We'll continue to watch it. But like I said, I'm getting the sense that we've plateaued from the European standpoint. I'm not seeing the volume of flights that we were seeing before, not seeing the volume of assets going in. Maybe we're in a pause where we're just kind of hitting that little bit of a breathing point, and then you'll see another push. Time will tell, but let's continue to watch it. This would indicate, if it is a plateau, it would indicate that our troops are there, the assets are there, and they're ready to roll, rock and roll, should I say, at any given point. So, all right, listen, that's going to do it for today. You guys be safe out there. Keep that powder dry and stay frosty. We'll see you on the other side here. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at Monkey Works US.